In this video, I'm going to give you a Tropical Storm Elsa update. Welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name is Mark, and today we're going to look at what happened with Tropical Storm Elsa, particularly how did it affect the area I live in, the Naples area. And actually the sky doesn't look too bad in front of me, or in back of me, but in front of me, it looks like it's still kind of stormy. Let's take a look at that. Over in this direction, the sky looks nice and blue and almost like a really nice day. But in this direction, it looks gray and cloudy, like it's going to rain. And if we look at the ground, you can see it's still wet because we have been getting quite a bit of rain. Hey, let's check in on the neighborhood alligator. Well, I don't see him here. I'm going to insert a clip from yesterday when I did see him hanging around here. Let's check this side. Nope, we might still see him today. It's a big canal system, as you can see, and we might see him yet. So what happened with the storm? Well, we were very fortunate. Down here, there's a term that I've never heard, or maybe I did hear it, but because I was up north in Wisconsin, it really didn't affect me, so I didn't pay a lot of attention. And that term is cone of uncertainty. As the storm was heading our way, and it was way out over the ocean, then it started coming over Haiti and Cuba, they started to have models. And then all the models, they would bring them together and they would have what they called the cone of uncertainty, all the different paths that was possible that the hurricane at one point, which turned into a tropical storm, could take, then what area it would encapsulate. And at one point, it was just about all of Florida. As it turns out, we got really lucky and it went out over the Gulf of Mexico. Now, I prepared, and I'll link that video here, but I primarily bought a generator, some other things, you know, got some water, but you can only drink water. The generator, you might say, well, that's quite an expensive purchase for something that never happened. But we know living in southern Florida, there's a good chance that power's going to go out at some point. There's going to be other storms. There's going to be other hurricanes. So I don't feel like I was throwing away money and I was spending money I shouldn't have spent. The power did go out extremely briefly, just like a flash. It went out just enough to turn off my Wi-Fi and I had to reset that. But that was really it. We got a lot of rain, but it didn't last very long. It wasn't a real violent storm, because as I said, it did pass out over the Gulf. And so what we were getting are the effects of the storm passing by us. So a lot of heavy rain, but it wasn't any different than the type of rain that I've normally seen since moving here. It put, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches of rain in the backyard. I wouldn't call it flooding because it stayed there in the backyard. And that was really the worst what we saw. We're gonna look down from that bridge and see if we can see any turtles or gators. Let's see what we can see. I find it easier to spot things if I'm looking down from the bridges than looking across the water, because that gator is just a little hump in the water. Nothing here today but an old coconut. And that's why I want to look down, because sometimes those coconuts can look like a gator head sticking up. But I don't see anything today. Those are big fish down there. I don't know if you can see that big fish swimming down there. Kind of dark. He's low in the water. There he is. And look at that big palm frond in the water. Those things drop. That one's probably a good 10 feet long. And they land on anything that's nearby, whether it be buildings or vehicles. I have a 2-car garage, but it's a tight 2 cars. If you watched my video where I painted the garage floor, and you'll see that I think that comes in at exactly 20 by 20, which is really tight for a 2-car garage. So I was able to get in both of my cars and my motorcycle in anticipation of the possibility of a bad storm, but it really wasn't a lot. It's supposed to still be raining here today, and as I look around, I see it's possible I'll get caught in a rainstorm before I start heading back home, even on this walk. But for the most part, it's passed by Naples now, and what it's going to do when it gets to what they call the Big Bend, and that's where the peninsula of Florida turns into the Panhandle, that's where it's supposed to hit land, and then it'll head across to Georgia and head up the coast if it maintains any strength. So I think that's where they're probably going to get the most rain. It doesn't look like it's gaining a lot of power or strength, so I think we're pretty good. We pretty much dodged the bullet, kind of what I anticipated. If you go back rather, and watch the video while I was preparing, I kind of sort of didn't think this was going to be much, but you know, you got to be careful, because just when you kind of take it for granted and you say, it's going to be nothing, that's when you can get into trouble. Even way over in Miami, they were doing some preparation. You've probably heard about that building that partially collapsed. I believe it was a condo, a residence, and they ended up taking down that entire building. And one of the reasons that I read anyways was they were concerned that if the storm headed in that direction, it could bring down the rest of the building, and they'd rather that it came down in a controlled way. That was really tragic. My heart goes out to the people over there. Lives were lost. Of course, a lot of homes were lost. And I hope that the result is that they check on how things are built, why it came down. I'm sure that that's going to be investigated for a long time, but hopefully something good can come out of that. Okay, we're on another bridge. I have never seen the gator from this bridge, never. So I don't know how much he hangs out around here. I did see him crossing the lake once. Look at this guy. Sometimes they will spread their wings out and dry their feathers. They're fun to watch. Sorry, I can't keep the camera real steady. I'm zoomed in there. The further out you zoom, the more steady it appears. You might hear all the humming of engines around. Today is landscaping day, so they're doing some, well, not a lot of mowing, although I did see some grass clippings back there. Mostly what they're doing is trimming the branches today. Here's some fallen fronds on the sidewalk, several of them. It's a very nice day weather-wise, other than, you know, impending rain, which always happens in southern Florida. It'll rain for an hour or two, but the humidity's kind of up. You don't feel it a lot because the temperature is cool today, and you might be hearing it even on the microphone of the camera. It's kind of breezy, and that helps as well. So just a really nice day, as long as the rain stays away. There's another one of our neighborhood friends. A lot of rabbits around here. Here's a beautiful flower. This is right outside my door. I'd like to thank you for joining me. As always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. Leave your comments down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe by clicking my face in the corner, and don't forget to ring that bell icon way up above. That way you'll know when I post new videos. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark, and this is the Average Me Channel.